Anyway, moving on to it. So I'm going to move straight on to the first subject. Nun fights protester.
She does, yes.
You like that, don't you?
It's my favourite one because she properly rugby tackles into the ground as well.
What was the headline for one of them?
Sister of No Mercy.
Sister of No Mercy.
That's the best headline.
So yes, a new build Catholic church is being built, and protesters have done their hardest to try and get in and stop it being built. Why? Environment reasons.
Yes, apparently it's over fears that it's going to ruin the habitat for some local creatures. And we've seen a few videos of it, and there are people kicking down metal fences and nuns trying to keep them out, and it's pretty crazy when you actually watch it.
I mean, this is in France, not England. I mean, if there was a brand new church being built in England, I think people would straight away stop the idea of it anyway. But it's not something you hear about every day, a church being built, is it?
No, not really. I don't
Churches are usually an old thing, aren't they?
I don't know if I've ever heard of a church being built, to be honest.
Have
you?
No. Normally rebuilt from the bombings or something, or from like some major conflicts or anything like that, or normally under restoration. You don't.
No, I didn't even really realise they built new churches.
No, that's it. So this is quite interesting, isn't it? And for environment activists to actually break their way in. I mean, let's get religious now. Wouldn't God or Jesus say that, you know, treat everyone as fair and love thy neighbour, even those that trespass against us?
That is what they say.
That is what he says, doesn't he? You know, and that is what we pray about. And
I
obviously,
don't think the nun took that one into account when she rugby tackled.
No, but the sister. Jesus told me to do it. You know, fair play to them. They tried to stop them breaking in, because obviously at the end of the day, there's also construction equipment going on. There is heavy plant that is going to be excavated. It is excavating. I mean, it doesn't look that big, does it, in the video? The site of what is being built, and you know, obviously, I'm going to say something else again that's religious. That obviously Jesus would probably make another habitat for these things, so they don't get killed by the church being built. I mean, I imagine the stuff's been heavily surveyed. It's probably not in a conservation area. So I'd imagine that the church has done all that it can to protect the environment whilst being built. Yes. It just seems like protesters are just being protesters for any reason to protest.
It does, and I will also say that the protesters have kind of taken this too far to another level.
They're taking the law into their own hands, by breaking in.
They're breaking in, they're knocking the fences down, they're trying to jump in the diggers and take them over. Like, that's not protest.
Actually, videos of them punching the digger and kicking it. I mean, newsflash: the digger is going to come off better.
The digger always wins.
I have seen some accidents with machines such as excavators, and I have actually hit one with my hands before, because that's just something that you do in construction. You somehow end up hurting yourself on an excavator. And they are solid steel frame. They are not thin.
I don't think kicking a digger is going to do much good. And like we've said, the digger always wins.
The digger will win. The only thing you're likely to damage on the excavator is the hoses and essentially just the cab with the driver in it. But I can tell you now, fair play to the driver. He literally stopped immediately. I mean, if anything could have happened, someone could have had their leg sheared off or something.
The thing is, but obviously, like the poor driver, he's just trying to do his job. He's just trying to do his job so he can go home.
Imagine being employed. You've got to go build a church. Yeah, cool. And you'd never think of it protesters.
No, you don't really see many people going against the house of God. Do you know what I mean?
No, this is it. But it makes you wonder, doesn't it? Would they have done this to a mosque or a synagogue being built?
Well, that is a video I'd like to see, because that ain't ever going to happen.
It ain't going to happen, is it? It'd be, you know, these protesters would be automatically racial depiction.
Yeah.
So I think that these people, I hope that Jesus deals with them in their own way. A lot of them have probably had a very restless night from that. But fair play to the sister. He managed to tackle one of them to the ground.
She did.
I mean, I don't know what she did after that. What should she do? Restrain him and crucify him, or?
But she, like, if you go and find the video, go watch it. She proper sort of like pushes him away and then sort of jumps on him and pushes him to the ground. He goes right in the mud as well.
Yeah, so I assume it is a good one, isn't it? From the Daily Mirror. Sister of No Mercy, hilarious moments as a nun grapples protester. I mean, fair play to Daily Mail capture. I think that's how I saw it, was the Telegraph and the Daily Mail. Posting it on TikTok, which I found very funny. So yeah, I link it in the description or link it at the bottom of the video, and just go and have a look at it. Go and have a 5 minutes of laughter by watching all this. There is multiple videos on YouTube, so do go have a look.
Yeah, you can get a few different angles of it. The best one we've seen is quite a close-up one, sort of from the nun's left, as she pushes him over. But there are a few.
There's a guy videoing in the background, like, oh, this is going to go on the internet.
Yeah.
So yeah, fair play to the sister. The church, I'd like to know what they've come up with it. I'd like to see what they've got to say. Obviously, this is in France, so probably nothing will, because France don't really care. They just like squash it immediately. Don't need to talk about it. And I wonder if the old gendarmerie got involved with the protesters. I'd imagine they would have been arrested.
You'd have thought so.